Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So today's transmission is titled Radiant Power, Holding It All. So I think it's important that we establish what the fuck I mean by power, because I don't mean false confidence or bravado. I mean the true power that circulates your bones, that vibrates not only within you, but out into the world around you. That's power. That's being able to walk into the world, no matter the context or the situation, and know that you've got you. But we don't live in a world where we encourage people to hold their power. Instead, we live in a world that gives you all the tools to ensure that you never hold your power. What does it look like to not hold your power? More importantly, what does it feel like to not hold it? And more importantly still, what kind of life do you get when you don't? See, it might start off as when you're a kid, you feel this surge of energy in your body and you immediately demonize it and call it anxiety. But if you wanted to feel powerful in your life, what did you expect power to feel like? Power was never going to be like walking through a field of daisies. Power was going to be electric. It was going to be deep and penetrative. Power could not be embodied softly. See, power, when it first hits our body, feels intense and nearly problematic because we never know how to hold it for ourselves. And it starts coming in around our puberty. The fellas of the call might start to remember those times where they felt like they were victim to their hormones. Ladies, you may recall this time where you felt batshit crazy because of the same. But I have all the forgiveness and all the grace for that part of you because you did not know how to hold power, nor were you taught. Instead, you were given probably a list of rules of how to behave, despite the fact of you feeling in complete contrast to what those rules were. Be nice, be kind, be meek and mild-mannered. Be strong, be brave, be anything other than what you are in this present moment, because the power that you hold right now makes others uncomfortable. That if you were truly to hold yourself in this situation, we would all have to look at ourselves and realize what doesn't work. So instead, we need you to behave differently. We need you to conform. We need you to absolutely abandon what you know in your own bones for societal expectations. See, the problem is, you'll learn to pretend. You will learn to mask the power that is burrowing inside you just to placate those rules. And that happens about your teenage years in high school when you learn that all of a sudden you can pretend to be a good student, a good kid. Or heaven forbid you be a soft, tender bunny. You will learn how to be strong and mean, all to protect the more vulnerable bits, all to protect that part of you that society says, nay, nay, you can't do that. And then you hit college. And all of a sudden in college, you realize that you don't have to abide by anybody's rules. And you decide you're going to let your freak flag fly. And now your energy's caught up in drama and pain and self-sacrifice. And you don't know how you got there, but it seems to be all the rage because everybody's doing it. And now you got yourself in trouble, whether it's with your own integrity or with the people you surround yourself with. See, power is such a fascinating thing because we are given it so early and we are expected to fail in holding it, so that we can learn to master and wield it well. I'm bringing you into the new body of work that I am releasing called the Fatale Path, a journey of unraveling all the bullshit things that you do with your power that keep your life small, that keep you disoriented from who you are actually meant to be, so that you can hold it well. Many of you have found me through Kerosene sessions, which was a private one-off session where I showed you all of the ways that you might be off-gassing your power by gaslighting yourself. Because who would you truly be if you actually just trusted that internal guidance? See, to trust ourselves with power is scary. It's downright horrifying. So when we're just learning how to wield it, we're going to make mistakes. But more importantly, we're going to feel justified in doing so. So when we gaslight ourselves and we say, oh, he really likes me and he's just busy, that's why he hasn't texted me. That's okay. I'm just going to hang tight. I'm just not going to message him because I know that he likes me and he's just a busy guy. But internally, you know that you are buying a fantasy, gaslighting yourself into more pain and drama, sacrificing your life for this story that you sell yourself, all to end up back at what you really know, that person wasn't for you. And it doesn't really matter what you gaslight yourself into, whether it's a relationship, a career, a conversation, or if you gaslight yourself out of those things. The point of gaslighting yourself is to ensure that you dump your power anywhere else other than holding it. Because if you actually held it, you would become a different version of yourself. You become a version that you are unfamiliar with. And our brain likes familiarity. Our minds love the neural grooves that are consistent over time. So if we're constantly questioning our intuition, if we're constantly gaslighting ourselves out of holding our power, then giving our power away for free is the default. It's so much more comfortable, but that's not what the path of power is. Path of power is not to do the comfortable thing, not to do the thing we can justify doing, but to do what's actually true for us, to come back into integrity with self and the energy that is actually running in your body. So let's say you stop gaslighting yourself. What then? Now you've just got all this power in your body with nowhere to go, no place to be. Well, you're going to see all the ways that you're going to still want to off gas and dump your power to addictions, relationship, etc. And that's what we call your sleaze. See, it's sleazy to leak your power like that. It's sleazy to not hold your power responsibly. It is sleazy to just let it seep out of your veins because you don't know where to do or how to be with it. See, when you don't know how to be with your power, you're going to find little creepy, disgusting ways to get rid of it. Now, if you're me, that was getting secretive as hell, because the more secretive I could be, the more power it would take away from having to be in my body. See, if the power in my body is uncomfortable and I can't gaslight myself into pain and problems, and now I'm just sitting with the discomfort in my own skin, then I'm going to leak it into things that are secretive and taboo, because it takes a tremendous amount of power to render something wrong. So why not do collectively taboo things? Why not sleep with the married man? Why not sleep with brothers? Why not collect an entire assortment of dick pics? Why not lie to people? Why not pretend to be somebody else? At least then being in my body would be somewhat comfortable. Yeah. And the thing is, we all do it. Your sleeves just might look totally different than mine. But the thing is we can't alchemize what we don't approve of. And so it's important for us to understand that this is how I leak my energy. And sometimes it feels really good, because not leaking it feels horrific. It feels terrifying to be in my skin when I have all of this power inside of it. In fact, I feel damn near dangerous. I feel fatal. So then we have to walk around the world. We're not gaslighting. We're not leaking. But now we're so scared of ourselves as powerful beings that we try to hide it. So we put up these fancy facades and pretend that we're some version of us that we're not. And we have it so curated so perfectly to ensure that no one can be any wiser. See, a while ago, I had to confront where I was still glamouring people. And if you're unfamiliar with the concept, glamour is a magical term of where you put up a facade to distort what's behind it. Now, lots of people like to think that glamour means elegance. And if that's what you think, it's because you've already bought into it. Glamour is a distraction. Glamour is deception. It is pretending to be something you're not. Your glamour could be that you're a bad bitch, when the truth is you're actually a lot softer. Your glamour could be that you're soft, when the truth is that you are one murderous kind of woman. The truth might be that you're a nice guy, but you really show people like you're a prick. But your glamour may also be that you're an asshole, when the truth is you're just tender. See, our glamour is any distortion that we put up because we are fearful of ourselves. We're fearful of who will be revealed if we don't have the glamour. And the truth is that who will be revealed is the one who leaked our power in sleazy shit, that gaslit ourselves into things that we did or did not want to do. The truth of who we were that gets revealed when we let down the glamour is where we're not perfect, where we're not doing everything right. And in a world that demands that you be perfect, that's where we get ourselves into trouble. So when you're done gaslighting yourself out of power, when you're done leaking it into anything that will eat it, and when you're done hiding who you are, what's left? What's left is you being embodied in your power. And I'm not going to lie to you, that feels just as scary, because you are going to fumble with it. You are going to say things that are both truthful, honest, and absolutely powerful. And it will feel scary to say, because you're not yet skilled in wielding the dagger that it is. See, the Fatale path is not about killing you. It's about killing everything that's not you. It's about letting those things fall away, allowing the truth of who you are moment to moment to be revealed, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's gross, even if it's sleazy, even if it's absolutely shameful, so that you can alchemize anything that distorts who you are. Because every distortion is a lie, and every lie takes a tremendous amount of power to hold. So the more that we lie, the more power it requires, the less power we have for our lives. The more honest we are, the more power is free, the more power we have to create. So once you actually begin to comb through the ways that you give it away, and you start to hold it more in yourself, the more you can actually create, the more you can actually build, the more energy you have for your life, instead of the pain and the drama and the devastation of being human. This particular body of work, I'm terrified to release, if I'm honest, because Fatale wants me to reveal every secret I've ever held. And I'm not just talking about the dirty, gritty things. I'm talking about the deeper secrets, as in, why did I do those things? Why did I override myself when I saw a man wear a ring, but I wanted to trust his words that he was separated? What in me allowed me to pour my power there, give it away instead of holding firmly in myself? And the truth is that I was a girl who was hungry for status and looking for a savior. So I wanted to ignore the things that I knew and I felt, because it was so much easier to trust what he said, because a part of me was met there. I was met by his words. My ego was satisfied with what he had to say. See, the secret isn't that I slept with a married man. The secret is that I was desperate for what I thought that man would give me. And I was unwilling to feel that desperation to be able to come back to myself and choose something from alignment. And so instead of feeling the desperation for status and wealth, I found a man who would assume the solution. See, the secret isn't that a hate website was made about me at 16. The secret is that I taught her how to do it. That I taught my best friend how to make an anonymous webpage, and she turned around and made one about me. The secret isn't that I was assaulted by my boss. The secret is that I tolerated it because I needed a paycheck. See, when we think of secrets, we often go to the dirty taboo thing, but we're unwilling to go all the way back and find that first moment where we sold ourselves a story that landed us in an explosion, because it's that first mark that sets off how we're going to relate to our energy, relate to our internal power, relate to our self-worth, to relate to our clarity of conscious, to be able to live a life that's in alignment. That's why this particular journey begins with Kerosene as a group container on September 9th. And while this experience may be repeated, I can't promise that, but it'll be a month-long container so that we can unpack that first fucking click, that first point where we decided that pouring gasoline on ourselves was the better solution than holding all of the power inside of us. Because when the truth comes through, it comes with a match. And it, dependent on how much gasoline you've poured on top of yourself, will determine the rate of the explosion. Your life doesn't need to combust to come back into alignment. It can be unpacked. It can be cut apart. It can be spliced apart so you can see what behaviors you are behaving with, to backtrack, to clear it up, to take a shower and pour the gasoline somewhere else other than on top of you so that you can hold it better. But that doesn't mean you won't do sleazy things either. And that's why the next step is to ensure you can hold your power and see what happens in the process of you holding it, and how you hide it, and how you pretend that, oh my God, I'm not this big, powerful being, and you glamour. The journey continues after Kerosene into a 4-month container of glamour, where we will unpack your own tabloid of not only revealing your secrets in the container, but getting to the deeper vulnerability that allows those secrets to hold so much power and finally alchemize them so you can do something else. But see, once power is freed up, once you're not hiding nor burning it, it's kind of wild and chaotic. And this is where we're susceptible to the sleaze, because we just want somewhere for it to go. So we need to ground it. This is where you would choose to pursue the full Fatale Mentorship path, because this is where the return of Sleaze Motel anal alchemy begins. See, anal alchemy, which is something that a lot of people know me for, is a practice of grounding energy through your anus. Because how else are you supposed to do it? It is right next to your root chakra. It is the one place that is unifying across all sexes. It is the one thing that carries so much fucking shame. So why not bring approval and alchemy to ground the energy that is yours to own? At the end of Sleaze Motel, you will be 6 months through your Fatale journey, allowing us to have the next 6 months in simply practicing and journeying with the wielding of power and truth, because you can no longer burn yourself with it. You can no longer hide it. You can no longer leak it out because you have the skills to ground it. So now what? Well, now we go out and we create. We have those uncomfortable conversations. We hold our power in the face of dissent. We're able to be who we are in a state of practice of letting life and power be fatal to the things that are not in service to us. You may lose friendships. You may lose relationships, but you will definitely lose everything that cannot be with you, that cannot allow your fullest self to come forward. So if this is something that you desire to journey with, I encourage you to register. And you don't have to sign up for the full Fatale path right away if that's not true right now. You can begin with Kerosene, then upgrade. You can begin with Glamour and upgrade. But my recommendation is that if you feel called to this work, that you lean into Glamour first and foremost, because it'll include Kerosene as a part of your journey, but it's going to be the most alchemical. Because it's one thing to know where you're gaslighting yourself, but it's another thing to see who you are in relationship to the life around you and how you're still not showing up to it, even though you might think you're present and involved. See, the crazy thing is I actually have no idea how Fatale is going to evolve. All I know is these first 3 steps. So at the same time, if you feel called to do the whole fucking thing, then come for the ride. The full ride is limited. There is only going to be 12 seats max. And I'll be sure to send you all a link to register. And when you do, I want you to take your time. Let yourself feel the fullness of your desire and watch what you do with that energy. Watch if you tell yourself, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the program. I'm going to gaslight myself right out of it. Even though I feel the yes, I'm going to fight it for the next 3 weeks. And then the day before the program, that's when I'm going to finally accept that my intuition was right and that I'm going to sign up for it. Even just enrolling in this path, you're going to see all of the ways that you abuse your power and all the ways that you avoid truth and all the ways you don't actually want to do this work, because that's what I had to do. Yesterday, I had a huge temper tantrum because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to tell the world my secrets. I don't want to have to be honest and vulnerable and intimate. I don't want to have to unpack my fear of commitment and why that exists. But I don't get a choice. I'm here to serve this medicine, so I am going to do it publicly. My only invitation to you is that you do it within the container. So I'm going to give you guys just a moment to take a big, deep breath. I'm going to strip off my jacket because I'm overheating. And I just want you to drop in the chat, what are you hearing for yourself? Someone thought the kerosene sessions was an autocorrect for ketamine session. I mean, that's one way of thinking about it. My glamour is that I'm invulnerable, while in fact, I'm really sensitive and vulnerable. Yeah. Oof. Yes to all of this. That's beautiful. Great. See, this is the thing, is like how we interact with our power can be spliced into 1,000 different directions. This particular journey is just one of the ways you can look at it. So for those of you that are joining live, we're going to be switching over to a Q&A digestion where we can talk about this body of work, talk about what's coming up for you, and digest a little bit so that you're not leaving here super full. But for those of you that are watching the replay, I'd love to hear just a small digestion in the comments. That way we can be clear of what's not for you and what is for you, and really chew on it and digest it and receive the nutrients that are there. And I look forward to seeing you in whatever container feels like the most resonant next step for you.